leaving. I'm leaving. I'm sick of you. I'm tired of you. I'm gonna go, and I'm going back to my mom's house. Bye. See you later.
This video is brought to you by Texas Tea Street Talking, best-selling CD. Go get it.
Then go through a vaccine mandate. That's according to a survey given to members of San Diego Police Officers Association recently. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala spoke with the union president, who says the biggest concern right now is losing officers if the city doesn't provide options for those officers. Mimi.
Yeah, and he says after years of working on recruitment and retention at the police department, this vaccine mandate could cause a major setback.
It's concerning for sure.
The city of San Diego recently notified employees that they must get a COVID-19 vaccine by November 2nd with some religious and medical exemptions. Jack Schaefer is the president of the San Diego Police Officers Association. He says a new survey highlights the potential issues with staffing the police department if the city sticks with that mandate. He says about 733 union members responded to the survey,
which is roughly 38% of our whole force. It just seems like there should be something other than either have your vaccination or go get another job.
In a copy of the results shared with ABC 10 News, about 91% of the respondents believe that vaccines should be an individual choice. Schaefer says when asked if an officer would rather be fired than obey a city or department mandate, hundreds said yes.
I believe it was somewhere in the 330 range that said that they'd rather be fired than be mandated.
And he says when officers were asked if they'd consider leaving the department if vaccines were mandated by the city, about 479 said yes.
I was asked recently if, those numbers might be a little skewed. Obviously, any survey can be. But even if it's a quarter of that number, you're talking 75 or 80 officers. That's a lot, and they could very easily go to other places.
Schaefer tells me the union has been negotiating with the city and shared those survey results. He worries after years of working on recruitment and retention and finally getting to a good place, this mandate could reverse those efforts. He hopes a testing option will be given to those who don't want the vaccine. In a statement to ABC 10 News, Mayor Todd Gloria's press secretary said, "Polls don't dictate our policies. We want to protect our public safety officers and the public." And again, Schaefer says the goal here is to come to some type of an agreement so people can still get tested if they do not want to get the vaccine. He says that'll be key to keeping as much officers on the force as possible.
In that state, they turned in their helmets, their caps, and their boots. Now, we know that 1,900 workers so far have been let go. They refuse to get vaccinated. It's only 3% of the total workforce. But, Doctor, we're seeing fights ramping up from coast to coast. In California, Washington, Oregon, and Illinois, Chicago, New York City, Massachusetts, first responders are threatening to quit. What do you say?
Well, I say the fact that the administration needs to resort to vaccine coercion, and that's what it is. Lose your job, lose your family, lose your home, unless you get vaccinated is really just sad, and it's a lack of good messaging. Secondly, it's unnecessary because many of these individuals have already had COVID, and natural immunity it's at least as equally as protective as vaccine immunity. There's not a single study published that shows that vaccines are better than natural.
From where our peak staffing levels were a few years ago, we can't afford to lose 1,000 police officers. We can't afford to fire 1,000 police officers over an impasse like this right now. So I think the mayor is aware that she's in an untenable position, as far as trying to bargain her way out of this. But frankly, she put herself in that position.
Government workers and unions in New York City may sue over the vax mandate. You hear it. Health pros have said you don't have the freedom to expose other people to a potential deadly disease. That's not what's at issue here, or you and I are talking about. It's about testing for antibodies. Your word on that.
So look, vaccination is a means to an end. It works very well to protect you and others from the disease. But natural immunity also achieves that end. And I think we ought to just admit that and allow that and let more people go back to work. And I think if the CDC were honest with the American people, that natural immunity, it's okay. It's not a political statement. It's not a partisan statement. It's just public health fact.
Yeah.
If they said that, I think we'd be in a much better place all around.
Yeah, but...
Or testing mandate. Embassy 5's Jen DeSalvo joins us now live from FOP Lodge 7. And Jen, with the level of crime in this city, the stakes really high in this. Yeah, Michelle, and last night over 200 officers packed into the FOP Lodge 7 that's just right behind me. Their purpose was, as the vaccine mandate deadline approaches, what the plan is for the FOP. That meeting lasted about 2 hours with those hundreds of officers. FOP President John Catanzara said that his members are ready for a fight, saying that his members are passionately in disagreement with the mandate. The union leader promised that his lodge will fight the mandate in court, making a dire prediction about manpower across the city this upcoming weekend, and calling on aldermen to support public safety officers.
I guarantee you at least half the department staying home come Saturday morning. Until the aldermen all stand together and say, what are we doing here? We need to worry about city violence, not mandates by the government on our employees.
Possible effects to public safety. By Friday, tomorrow, all city employees must report their vaccination status or face weekly testing that will happen twice per week, and that will be on their own dime. Mayor Lightfoot is holding firm on her decision in that deadline, saying that the city will be protected even if half of the police force is off due to the no-pay status because of the failure to disclose their vaccination status.
Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Shut up. Shut the hell up.